much needed win over the Super Eagles of Nigeria. 1-0 that game ended in Austria, and it is the first win for Cameroon since the Ghana-Nigeria 2000 Africa Cup of Nations final, where they beat the Super Eagles on penalties. Ghana Traore, the manager of the team, has spoken. He said, well, Nigerians shouldn't be too worried that results of friendly games are not what you should really bother yourself about. It's just to try out certain things, and he was impressed with some of the players and maybe not too impressed with others, but he feels, okay, no problem, we've got another match coming up on Tuesday, so they should be making amends. But then he warned that Jamilu Collins and William Troost-Ekong are out of that next game because they picked up injuries last night. So Nigeria losing to Cameroon 1-0. There were also international friendlies across Europe. We'll be looking at those results, and also the 2022 FIFA World Cup that's going to be taking place in Qatar. The South American qualifiers are on. Those guys don't need friendlies because they've got Copa America starting on the 13th of June, and they're still playing the qualifiers for the World Cup. So they are actually using competitive matches to prepare for Copa America. Well, Ruben Diaz, well, many have said he is the signing of the season. He has now emerged the Premier League player of the season after winning the title for the Football Writers Association. He has now also won the Premier League player of this season. So congratulations to Ruben Diaz of Manchester City. Fantastic defender, the first defender to win that award in many, many years. Antonio Conte, it looked all set that he was going to join Tottenham Hotspur. Well, we can tell you now that contract talks between Conte and Tottenham are off, and that's because of the demands that Conte was making. He wanted to bring so many of his assistants to the club, but Tottenham told him, look, you can only have 4, nothing more. And now we hear that the contract talks have been called off. What's happening in the world of tennis? The second tennis Grand Slam of the year, the French Open, is on at Roland Garros, and we'll be giving you details. And then also the latest happening in the world of basketball. The NBA playoffs are on, so we'll be looking at everything that is going on down there. Good afternoon, welcome to Saturday Sports Fiesta. It is live on 92.7 KUFM Benin City. My name is Saliu Ibrahim, but they call me the Sports Ibracadabra because I bring magic to sports presentation and analysis. Agosa Egbekan, the sports maestro, is here, as well as CJ the maestro. Guys, starting on a very disappointing note, for those of us who bleed green, we wanted that victory yesterday, but it didn't happen. Cameroon beating Nigeria 1-0.
It was an unfortunate loss. Usually, when you're playing well, one would expect you to score 1 or 2 goals to just ensure that you seal up the match. What was most painful for us, for some of us who saw the game on TV, was that we were playing well up until the point where we considered that very goal, which came from nowhere, courtesy of Frank Anguissa. At that point, I felt, okay, maybe we could come into the game. Overall, for 90 minutes, we were the better side in that very game. Let's make no mistake about it. We played really well. The boys, boxed the game. We had about 17 shots, and then maybe 6 or thereabout on target or so. Cameroon didn't have up to that. They just had a couple of shots on target. But we can tell you that we were really the better side in that very game. Just that we didn't have the cutting edge. We didn't, of course,
I thought the Cameroonian goalkeeper was the man of the match. And when your goalkeeper is the man of the match,
of course, yeah. It's just like the years David Ayer was busy saving Manchester United. You know how it is when your goalkeeper wins the player of the season, it means you had a poor season.
Maybe not necessarily poor, but you faced a lot of shots. Because defending is part of the game. Your goalkeeper is supposed to be saving shots. It's not supposed to be allowing them to go in. So your goalkeeper could be player of the match, but you didn't particularly have a bad game.
Okay, so for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, we respect them to bounce back hopefully on Tuesday. Like Coach Generator has come out to say, there's no issue whatsoever. It's just a friendly match. It's not a competitive fixture. Yes, we use this very game to fine-tune our game and then see what we can do in terms of the World Cup qualifiers. We tried a couple of new players. Tried something different. Tried to cross the ball, which is not what we used to do under Coach Generator. I like the fact that Ro has decided, in as much as he started majority of the players that we know against Cameroon yesterday. But then he tried something new, played Onacho up front, and then, allowed Moses Simon the freedom of crossing the ball for, Onacho to not. But unfortunately, Onacho missed a couple of chances.
Yeah, but even the crosses were poor.
Yeah.
The crosses were poor. Seriously, our shooting was also atrocious until late in the second half when the goalkeeper started. The captain of the team, William Troost-Ekong, one fantastic free kick that he had with the goalkeeper save, and then Oganekari Atebo also had a great shot which the goalkeeper also saved. But I thought that the shooting was poor. And also the crosses. The crosses were not pinpoint.
I think I think it's that time we start looking at the ways that Vinny George and Monamike were playing. Talking about our wingers, yes, they are dazzling. They've got pace, But when it comes to that final touch, that is where you cannot run through the line, and at the end of the day, you make a poor cross. It doesn't make any sense. So for me, I think even the one that he headed rather, that the goalkeeper, talking about Ondoa, that was some Onacho, yeah. That was a good chance for him to have gotten it, but you expect goalkeepers to react, sometimes to that kind of. But except the goalkeeper is sleeping on duty. But all the same, well, I think the goal that was scored, if they had cleared that ball very well, I don't think Gusa would have capitalized on that rebound. It was a poor, a poor clearance from our own defender. But all the same, I think the next one is also an opportunity for them to put, right the wrongs, because you cannot lose to Cameroon twice, despite its friendlies, and you expect, people to just take it that way. So many people are not happy with that loss. If it had ended goalless, it would have been a better one. But now the jinx has been broken since Genotra came. But all the same, it's a friendly. I hope to see a better understanding, and not just better play, but also getting the goals.
Well, the trouble we're going to have currently right now has to be that we lost two players yesterday. We lost Jamilu Collins and William Troost-Ekong, the assistant captain of the team. It now means that we have lost two defenders, and you know that currently we do not have the big boys at the back. It means the coach has to, tweak his tactics a bit. It looks like he's going to play three men at the back or three men defense.
That's what he actually said after the match, the interview. Well, let's just listen to Coach Genetro speak after the game. He spoke, of course, as usual, to Babafemi Raji, the media officer of the team.
Well, we Coach Genetro, Super Eagles coach. He finished Nigeria 0, Cameroon 1. What would you say about the game?
Yeah, the most important is not the result. It was a test match. So it was very interesting to see some new players. We missed 7 or 8 key players, of course, so we had to manage the situation. They did it well, and we had, I think, 17 shots on the goal when they only had 3. They had only 1 on the target, but it was the goal, and we had 6 on the target. So, yeah, our domination was not good enough, was not realistic enough, because we had to score in the beginning of the game. We did not. And when you don't score very often, you get a goal. That was like that today. But I saw interesting things. We had a good aggressiveness. We had a good integration of some new players. 3 of them played for the first time as the Super Eagles. We lost, unfortunately, 2 other players on injury, and it will be difficult for the second game to make a defense, because Ekong and Collins are out. They cannot play, so I think we have to manage again a difficult situation. But it's opportunity perhaps also to play with 3 defenders only, and to change a little bit the system to try something different. That's why we're happy to have this second game. And the result is not the most important in a friendly. The most important is to learn, to see some interesting things, to test some new players, and then for the competition to be efficient. That I think what we want to do in September in the World Cup qualifiers.
And coach, what would you say about the new guys? Terence Murphy played, Abraham Marcos, you threw in 5 players, and virtually all the new guys came on board. Marcus, Terry Murphy, and the likes were there. What would you say about it?
These test matches are made for that, to give the chance to other players. Of course, I would prefer to play with my best team and to prepare them for the World Cup in the same conditions, but it was not possible because too many players could not come. So it was an opportunity to see Murphy. He did well. Olayenka also had a good, on the right side, a good end of the match. Then we saw also Marcus. He was good also. And Valentine, who came in for Ekong in the end. So that's interesting. We will see again in the next game if they can pretend to a place in our 23-man list. Now there will be competition, and but it's good to give them the chance, and we are all the time happy to have young players.
And if you were to say something to Nigerians, what would you tell Nigerians?
Yes, the team did the maximum. They give a good image of the football because they never give up, and the victory is not the most important in friendlies. It's important to learn, to progress, to be ready for the next competition.
Thank you so much, Coach General, Super Eagles coach.
You're welcome.
Well, I think Balafa Miraji, maybe you should be telling Coach Genetro, he spent 5 years in Nigeria now, and he doesn't seem to understand that Nigerians don't like losing, especially not to bitter rivals like Cameroon or Ghana. You know, he keeps saying that winning is not the most important thing because played well. I don't know how many Nigerians saw it as a very good display from the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
In this country, we're not wired to fail, especially at the national team, especially if it concerns football. Even your football club, when you lose, you're not happy about it. Here in Nigeria, so we're not wired to lose matches. I hope Genetro will understand that going forward. He's not in Nigeria, so you may not understand how the average Nigerian football fan. What's the feeling is like when you see the Super Eagles?
Well, you should be in Nigeria. Well, Clemens Westerhoff spent 5 years here in Nigeria. That's initially, although later he even relocated to Nigeria and even married a Nigerian lady and all of that, and called himself. But even when he was here, by the time he was spending like 2 or 3 years in Nigeria, he has already named himself a Dutchnarian. That's his part Dutch and he's part Nigerian. Yeah. So he just got into the Nigerian. He started behaving like a Nigerian, started talking like a Nigerian. I recall when he went to Holland after Nigeria qualified for the World Cup. He was telling so many people came to welcome him, and he was really shocked. He didn't expect that, but there was a grand reception for Clemens Westerhoff for qualifying an African country for the first time to the World Cup. And when they had that person, I recall Shegodegwami then on Saturday Sports Spectacular on NTA went there and did the interview and everything. And Westerhoff was telling people that, look, Nigerians, they so much believe in God that as at the time that we were playing the match, we were singing praises to God, and after we won, Nigeria started thanking God. And you know how dramatic Westerhoff could be. He now attempted to sing the song. It was a Yoruba song. It was Oshe Baba. And Westerhoff said Nigerians were singing Oche. And he was telling his people to sing along with him, and everybody was confused and they were Oche. And like, what's wrong with? But look, that's how Westerhoff was. He was so into Nigerian. So when you say Genetro is not in Nigerian, so we don't understand how we feel and how we react to issues. Come on, you've spent 5 years here now. Westerhoff, after 5 years left, Genetro is still here 5 years, which means that he's likely to stay till after the World Cup in 2022. So he's going to be staying even longer than Clemens Westerhoff. So by now, I was thinking he would have understood how we act and how we react to issues.
You know, they say when you're in Rome, you behave like the Romans, but that doesn't seem to be the case with Raw. He doesn't want to be a Nigerian. He's even more French than he is German, because you look at him and you look at the way he goes about his lifestyle. He struggles to behave like a German. He's more like the French people than.
How do Germans behave? very efficiently.
Not really. Well, the Germans, they're not more like the usual British people who, of course, are very.
Of course, they are not British. They are completely different culture and everything.
But my point here is now that for Coach Ganacho, he's the kind of man who he doesn't want to be seen as a Nigerian. He of course wants to be, himself, but it doesn't work like that for us here. What we want is we've employed you to do a particular job. You've got to get that job done. You have a match against Cameroon. You cannot come out after the match to tell us that it's a friendly match, that yes, we have lost no doubt.
The result doesn't really matter.
The result does not matter. Yes, it's a friendly match. Of course, you're playing your most fierce rivals, and you've got to win. That's the way it is for us in this very country. So for Rob, we hope the tide gets to turn on Tuesday.
Because if it does not, what will expect, of course, as we've said, if you are a sportsman, as you prepare for victory, you should also know that you could lose, which was what we tried to tell some of our fans when they call and they are like, oh, their team will win. And look, be prepared, it could happen. So we are not saying Nigerians don't know how to lose. Of course, we could be good losers. Nobody wants to be a good loser, in quotes. You want to win. You want to win and be magnanimous in victory rather than to lose and they say you should be gallant in defeat. But if it were a person who understands the psyche of Nigerians, after this match, I think what we will be saying is, we are so disappointed that we lost that game. On Tuesday, we are going to show them Pepe. Those kind of talk. Remember what Amadou Pinnick, when he went to the dressing room of the Super Eagles in Benin here, after we allowed the Sierra Leoneans to come back from a 4-0 deficit to get a draw. He said, after he told them, look, I'm not happy, I'm sad, and this and that. Look, the only thing that can make me smile is if you go to Freetown and you beat them 4-0. I will not accept 1-0, I will not accept 2-0. We eventually played out a goalless draw. But the way he spoke there, told them, look, I want it to be 4-0 to show that 4-0 that you were leading wasn't a fluke, Even if the result doesn't go that way, but at least they will say, okay, at least the coach of the team was not happy that they got they lost this game, and that he's charged them to go all out for victory. But when you say, the results, it doesn't really matter, we are building and all of that, and we had 8 players missing. Cameroon also had some players missing. So
typically gonna try. You always make excuses. He has to blame somebody, or he has to blame a particular thing for losing 2 points, or probably for losing a match of this very magnitude. For the coach, we're happy that he did a couple of things right. One is that he played some new players. He also, after the match, said, okay, some of these guys did very well. They were playing for the Super Eagles for the first time, but then they were not jittery in any way, and they gave a very good account of themselves. He said he was able to, fix in 3 players to play together for the first time, which is good. So hopefully, we're going to see the tactical side of Ganacho on Tuesday, because for me, I'm not too sure. I struggle to believe that Coach Ganacho is the man for the job at this point in time. I struggle to believe that
he's 5 years on the job, so he is your man. Whether he is the man for the job, in quotes, I mean, you can't change it now. He's your coach, so you've got to. I think the World Cup will be his last assignment.
Hopefully,
I think if we hope we qualify.
We'll qualify. I don't think we're going to far.
But maybe because of what they've done to Nigerian coaches in the past, especially Shuaibu Ahmadu, I feel Shuaibu is such a forgiving person. I would have said we need to even maybe apologize to his family now that he's gone. But even before he passed, I'm sure he had forgiven Nigeria, because he was still ready to serve in different capacity for Nigeria, despite what happened to him. Because on 2 occasions, they told him, qualify for the World Cup, get to the semi-final of the Africa Cup of Nations. Shuaibu Ahmadu qualified for the World Cup, got to the semi-final, even won the 3rd place match in Mali 2002. But he was not allowed to go to the World Cup. He was fired. Then the same thing happened at Angola. Qualify for the World Cup, then get to the semi-final. That was the target that was set for him. He did that. But at Angola, when he finished 3rd, he was fired and was not allowed to go to South Africa 2010. So if Ganacho doesn't win the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, which will be played in 2022, maybe he shouldn't be going to the World Cup.
He shouldn't be going to the World Cup. But
even if we qualify.
But then, I think the Nigerian Football Federation, this current board of the NFF, I think they've been very tolerant with Coach Ganacho. I don't know why. But the truth is this: if this man Ganacho were to be an indigenous coach, by now I don't think he would have a job. He would have been fired. So maybe there's something really going on that we do not know about. But
he has a very good record. That is qualifying for major tournaments with games to spare.
But going to the major tournaments itself and not doing what the country wanted from him. That's the problem. Because as a coach, you should be confident in yourself, one, and in your players. And even if you lose, the way you talk to the press, it will seem as if even if it's a friendly, you feel touched by losing. Look at, for the first time in 21 years, the Nigeria Cameroon winning that game. Because Isao took that game as if it was final. Even before the game, he said it's not going to be friendly. They're not going to take it as a friendly game. So you see the way they attacked. Though they did not play better than Nigeria, but they got that goal, which is the most important, because the scoreboard is what you look at the end of the game. So for me, I think gonna try and his boys to ensure that they do the right things.
Okay, let's go now. First break. We'll be right back.
Trying to get or receive information through all corners of the globe requires unprecedented internet service. At Wireless NG, we provide fast, reliable, and affordable unlimited broadband internet service to homes and businesses. Service is currently available across Lagos and Benin. Visit us today at Wireless NG, 5 Ramaya, Ikenede Street off PZ Sapler Road, Benin City, or our marketing office, 70 Olowo Complex, Airport Road, Benin City, or call 0807-887-9960 or 0703-672-9147. Wireless NG, erasing internet boundaries.
Since I begin they use Biggie Bet, I just they cash out anyhow. You mean They there now. See them they offer bigger odds, 350% accumulator bonus, got one bonus, and you even fit cash out anytime, whether inside shop or online. Then they get better virtual games and jackpots. See them they even pay instantly. Oh boy, choose bigger rewards. So visit www.biggiebet.com to go claim your 120% welcome bonus now.
Biggie Bet, bigger reward, bigger luck.
All the programs on KU 92.7 are now open for sponsorship and advert placements. For sponsorship and advert placements, call now for inquiries 070-380-50243 or 080-8877-3644 or visit KUFM Marketing Office located at the top floor of the Enterprise Foundation Building, number 62, Ihama Road, Benin City, Edo State. 92.7 KUFM is your business growth partner.
Welcome back to Saturday Sports Fiesta live on 92.7 KFM Benin City. If you're just joining us, welcome. We've just reviewed the match between Nigeria and Cameroon last night. The indomitable Lions beating the Super Eagles for the first time in 21 years. 1-0 that game ended. And Coach Genetro, he says, the result isn't the most important thing. You've got to look at how well the Eagles played and all of that. And they've got an opportunity to make amends on Tuesday, but he has told us that William Troost, Ekong and Germany Collins got injured yesterday, so they will not be able to play. And he has even said, well, maybe they could use 3 defenders. Shehu Abdullahi played in the midfield yesterday, so it's possible that they might use him as a defender and all of that. Play 3 at the back, then play with wing backs. We'll see what happens if that's what the Super Eagles will do. Well, before we look at the results of other international friendlies that were played yesterday, let's tell you this one. Former Nigerian international footballer and captain, as well as coach, Samson Siasia, he has revealed that the Court of Arbitration for Sports in Lausanne, Switzerland, has informed him that his case is coming up on the 25th of June 2021 in the Swiss capital. Siasia, you recall, was banned for life in August 2019 for match fixing by Football World Governing Body FIFA, citing a phone interaction with well-known Singapore sports results fixer, that's Perumal. They said that the whole thing was brought forward virtually, and there was no evidence of any form against the former Nigerian international. So that's the situation. We hear that the case of Samson Siasia is going to be heard on the 25th of June. Many people have been asking what's happening with Samson Siasia. At one point he told us he was struggling to raise funds and all of that. And I don't know, but in a situation like this, well, they said you are innocent until proven guilty, but with FIFA allegations, there are usually there is very little we can do. I've had criticism against the NFF why are they not showing support and all of that, but in cases like this, it's difficult to come out and show support, except maybe you would demand that, okay, this person is innocent until he's proven guilty. But when you check almost all the cases that we've had, eventually you find that the person that has been accused was actually guilty.
Well, it's difficult, in a matter like this, you're usually very careful how you even talk about it, because it's a matter that is in front of a competent court. So it's a case of waiting till the day he gets to have a chance to speak for himself. It's been a difficult few years for Samson Siasia. The story has been long because when FIFA issue a ban like this, we're sure they must have done their job thoroughly. They don't just come out to ban a particular person for match fixing just like that. We're sure they must have done their assignments and done their investigations, and then the rest. So it's not left for CAS to prove or to more like support FIFA in terms of their own ban on Samson Siasia. And then also, if Siasia is able to prove his case that he's innocent, and then he could be cut loose. So let's see how it gets to happen. We'll just have an open mind about this very well. We hope he's cut loose, because he needs to be cut loose.
Yeah, I hope he is innocent. Samson Siasia, I will consider him a friend. Because he's somebody that I know personally. He's somebody that has been on my show. He's somebody that I have one-on-one interviews with. He's somebody that I know his house, and it's really, really disappointing that something like this has happened. And you want to ask, why are you not a bit more careful? And when you look at why FIFA, because the worry now is that, well, he wasn't given a personal hearing and all of that. But FIFA actually sent messages to his email address, but he said he was not where he could receive. When you hear things like that, it makes you wonder what's really going on, because they said he was unable to check his mail at that time, and I'm wondering where in Nigeria could you be that you're unable to check your mail. And if you are in a certain position, every time maybe I'm too busy during the day, I'm unable to check my mail, but even if I don't do that night, the next morning or before I go to bed the next night, I will try and refresh my mind. I know it could be tedious doing that, but I try to check to see if somebody has sent messages. I'm not as important as Samson Siasia, who is a coach, and he knows that there could be agents all over the world who are trying to reach him. There could be players, there could be job offers, so when he says he was unable to check his mail after FIFA sent him, because FIFA issued the live ban after they asked him to come and defend himself, and he didn't respond.
I think what happened, FIFA got angry that they sent him a letter.
Yeah, and he did not respond.
It felt like, okay, well, it looks like you know what you did before, and you don't want to answer, so we're going to give you the ultimate punishment. And he got the ultimate punishment. So when he got the punishment, it now dawned on him that he was actually sent a mail which he did not respond to, and he now came out to say that he yes, of course, FIFA may have sent, but he didn't get it, or he didn't check, or thereabouts. But that kind of excuse is not something you expect from a core professional like Samson Siasia. Like rightly said, he's a football man through and through, and you would expect him as a former Super Eagles coach, as a man who has coached several clubs here in Nigeria, you should be checking your mail at least every 24 hours to be sure that there's nothing there or there's something there that will take you to the next level. You can imagine having a national team offer there on your mail and you've not checked it for 3 months, and that's it's not the kind of excuse you want to hear from someone. It's a bit lackadaisical on the part of Samson Siase. Like we said before, we just hope that the case he has right now goes in his favor.
I do not want to say why will he even be associated with somebody like Raj Perumal, because even if he knows, what I'm getting at is that even Nigeria as a country has had dealings with Perumal. Perumal even boasted that he was the one that qualified Nigeria for the 2010 World Cup. Yeah, he boasted in one of the interrogations that they had of him. He boasted that he qualified Nigeria. No, he granted an interview. He said he qualified Nigeria for the World Cup. And many Nigerians do not know, they are not even thanking him. And I'm wondering what role did he play helping Nigeria qualify for the World Cup in 2010. So, and unfortunately, this man, that's Perumal, organized some international friendly games for Nigeria. So maybe it was in that process that Samson Siase became acquainted with him, and they said it had to do with match fixing concerning some players and all of that. But we sincerely hope that Samson Siase will be able to beat this and he can return to football. He's one of Nigeria's best coaches. It's just so unfortunate that he failed to qualify for the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations. That was what just tainted his legacy, because look, this was the guy that was so impressive at the 2005 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. He got Nigeria to the final with Mikel Obita, Itaiwa, and the rest of them, and it was only 2 penalties from the great Lionel Messi. He wasn't so great then, but we could see the potential. He was an 18-year-old in 2005, and he scored those. I thought some of those penalties were dubious anyway, but no problem. They beat us 2-1. And then we met Argentina again in the Olympic Games in Beijing 2008. It was still Samson Siase guided us to the final of that competition, and then the Super Eagles team came. Fortunately, we failed to qualify for the 2012. I recall my professional colleagues in Abuja, anytime we saw him, was World Cup coach. We were so hoping that he would take us to the World Cup, but unfortunately, because he failed to qualify for the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations, because of some things that he did, he felt some players were becoming too big for the Super Eagles and decided to cut them off, including Vincent Nyama. And unfortunately, the next game against Guinea, we played out a 2-2 draw, which prevented us from topping the group, and so we did not qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. And Samson Siase was sacked, and in came Stephen Keshi. And to his credit, Samson Siase, the day that Stephen Keshi was unveiled as the coach of the team, I was there. He came and he was the one that actually presented the jersey to Stephen Keshi. So he gave Keshi his blessing, showed that he was not bitter that he was fired by the Nigeria Football Federation. And remember, it was the same Samson Siase that took Nigeria to the Rio 2016 Olympics and won us the bronze medal. And we were hoping, okay, he has won the silver, he has won the bronze. Hopefully, he handles the under-23 team again and gives us the gold before in 2019 this devastating news came that he has been banned for life. So we hope that they are able to resolve this and Samson Siase can return to managing football again, and he can get to coach Nigeria again. All right. Nigeria lost to Cameroon last night, but that wasn't the only international friendly that was played. Let's look at some other results before we look at what's happening in the World Cup qualifiers.
All right, Rwanda also had a game. Rwanda at home defeated Central African Republic 2-0. Finland at home we were beaten by Estonia 1-0. Latvia enjoyed a 3-1 win over Lithuania. Malta at home we were beaten 2-1 by Kosovo. North Macedonia 4, Kazakhstan 0. Spain and Portugal played at a goalless draw. Hungary defeated Cyprus 1-0, while Faroe Islands at home we were beaten by Iceland 1-0. Italy trashed Czech Republic 4-0, while Slovenia hammered Gibraltar 6-0. All right, those were the friendly matches that we played yesterday. But we've got a couple of friendly matches today as well. Guinea will take on Togo. Russia is currently playing right now. It's 11 minutes. They are playing goalless against Bulgaria. Wales at 5 p.m. will take on Albania. Gambia versus Niger. Ivory Coast will take on Burkina Faso. Montenegro versus Israel. Sweden will take on Armenia. Senegal will face Zambia, while Tunisia will take on DR Congo. These are the matches to expect later today.
Okay, let's look at the World Cup qualifiers for CONMEBOL. That's on the South American region. We've got Argentina versus Chile. That match ended in a 1-1 draw.
It was Lionel Messi scoring for Argentina, while what's his name? Alexis Sanchez also scoring for
Alexis Sanchez
for Chile. Yeah, it was 1-1. I don't know why they have been struggling, but a win could have taken them to second spot. But all the same, it's still progressing. But for Brazil, 100% record for them. Richarlison and Neymar getting the goals for them as they beat Ecuador 2-0 to maintain top spot. So
then Peru lost to Colombia 3-0 at home. Colombia thrashed them away from home. So the way it is, in South America there are just 10 countries, okay, and that's why sometimes in the Copa America they invite Mexico. Mexico is not a South American country, it's in North America. Sometimes they even invite the United States of America or Jamaica to play in the Copa America. So sometimes they have 12 teams playing. So basically it is, what they do is, since they have 5 slots, I think 4.5, 5, they all play together. They don't have groups. It's not like in Africa or Europe. Africa we have 54, so Europe the same thing, 55 nations. So they don't. You have to group them because you have 13 slots. But in South America, they can't say Group A or Group B. And then so because they have 5 slots to fill. So what they do is everybody is in one group, and you play yourselves. Everybody play each other, home and away. Okay. So the way it is now, after 5 matches, they've got 4 matches to go. So after 5 matches, Brazil are top, 100% record, 15 points for Brazil. Then Argentina second, they've got 11 points. Third is Ecuador, 9 points. Fourth is Paraguay, 7 points. And then Uruguay are third, they've got 7 points too. Uruguay are fifth, 7 points. Sixth is Colombia, 7 points. Seventh is Chile, 5 points. Eighth, Bolivia, 4 points. Ninth, Venezuela, 3 points. And bottom is Peru. They've got just 1 point. Okay, so that's how this is going to go. We'll see what will happen at the end of the qualifier. So it is the top 5 teams that will qualify for the next round.
Well, really,
that will qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah, really tough at the moment, but one will expect Argentina, Brazil, and maybe Colombia, because they've got a bright chance also to progress. Uruguay, where they play the goalless draw with Paraguay, that's how it has always been, because it's been a tough game whenever they take to the pitch. But for me, I think Uruguay, if they get to win 1 or 2 of their matches, that could take them to the World Cup. But all the same, it is really, really intense at the moment, and every match is like a cup final. So for you to get to the World Cup, you have to win a couple of games and finish in the top 5. And without that, you don't play at the World Cup, because if you don't get the lottery, you don't. If you don't buy the tickets, you don't win the lottery. So I'm expecting the top 5 teams to go through: Chile, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, or maybe Colombia to make it the top 5. But all the same, even if we have new faces, it makes it more interesting, because if you don't take your chances, someone else will do.
Most likely we'll see Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, maybe Uruguay, or even Ecuador, coming into this very one. They very much are doing well at this point in time. Like rightly mentioned, Brazil on 15 points. I don't think anybody will knock them off this number 1 spot here. Most surely they will be the first nation to qualify from. That's very good. Well, Chile, it's unfortunate that currently they are not in the top 5. Yeah. Colombia are not in the top 5, which is more like a surprise to me. You can say Bolivia, of course, they deserve to be where they are currently. Venezuela, they're not so much of a football playing nation. Peru, you want them to be there because they're a very good side on a good day that they want to play football. So let's see how it gets to go. It's a case of having the best 5 from CONMEBOL, coming to qualify for the World Cup. if we have the best of them, getting to the World Cup, it gives them a chance to, win the World Cup once again. I remember how many times the continent has, won the World Cup before now. So
it's just Europe and South America. Yeah, they are the ones who.
They're exchanging it,
Yes.
So
but for the last, is it the last time that South America won was in 2002. Right? That was Brazil winning in 2002. 2006, it was Italy that won it. 2010, it was Spain. 2014, it was Germany. 2018, it was France. So the last four has been won by Europe. Yeah, so Europe have now dominated. Before, it used to be South America and Europe. And when we say South America and Europe, we are basically talking about Brazil and Argentina. Argentina have actually even won it just twice. Brazil have won it 5 times. And then you have Uruguay, who have won it twice. So these are just the countries from South America that have won it. So I'm sure. But when you look at the South American nations, I mean, which team will you say? Brazil, of course. You always mention
Argentina,
Brazil.
Flat out to deceive Argentina. It could be maybe Brazil, but Argentina, I can't put my money on them to win anything in the next 20 years. I don't know why it's like that, because if you look at them currently, they seem to be under a lot of pressure, to win the trophy, whether at the continental level, probably at the world stage. They get to the final of a major tournament, and then you just see them, crumbling out at the last one. When do you expect them to, perform? But then let's give them a chance. Hopefully, they can get something, maybe in the next World Cup, or probably in the Copa America.
Let's see what they will do in the Copa America. Perhaps that will give us an idea of what they can do. Maybe you feel the last 2 windows for Lionel Messi to win anything at international level, at senior level, of course, is won the FIFA Under 20 World Cup at the expense of Nigeria, and he also has an Olympic gold medal at the expense of Nigeria. So he's won something for his country, but at international level, he's not been able to win. Has been to the final of Copa America, has been to the final of the World Cup, but he has not been able to win anything. Okay, let's go on this break. We'll be right back.
The place and brighten, make everybody they wonder. Waiting because of the shine. Lush hair, long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better. Lush hair. So you want to slay with swag. Gotta be lush hair, gotta be lush hair. Straight or curly, they tango, lie. Gotta be lush hair, gotta be lush hair. You wonder how I shine like this. I'm on a lush hair, be the coco. Say you want to know. And if you wanna be fine like me, I can show you where to go. A lush hair, be the coco.
Beautiful people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
Welcome back to Saturday Sports Fiesta with me, Sally Ibrahim, the Sports Abracadabra, Rosak Bekan, the Sports Maestro, and CJ, the Maestro. Okay, let's look at some club fixtures that we've got in Nigeria. We'll begin in the Nigerian National League. AFCC will be taking on Oya Sports, while in Maiduguri, El Kanemi Warriors will be taking on Rarara FC. In Jalingo, Taraba FC versus Sokoto United, while in Zaria, Green Berets will take on Gombe United. And then in Group A2 in Kano, J&K Shakara FC will play against DMD FC, while in Abuja, Road Safety versus Malumfashi FC. In Mina, Niger Tornadoes will be taking on Kebbi United, and then in Ilorin it's going to be Abubakar Bukola Saraki versus Yobe Desert Stars. In Lokoja we have Kogi United versus Zamfara United. And then in Group B1, in Oshogbo, Osun United will take on 3SC, while in Lagos, Stars versus Dynamite Force. Then in Omoku, it's going to be Go Round versus Delta Force, while in Enugu, we'll have Giant Brillas taking on Nilayo FC. In Calabar, Rovers will play against Enenwe United. And then in Ado Ekiti, it's going to be Ekiti United versus Van Dressa. Then in Group B2, it will be Godoski FC versus Abia Comets, FC1 Rocket versus Holy Arrows. In Ikot, it's going to be Akwa Ibom taking on Gateway FC, while in Ikene will be Remo Stars versus Bendel Insurance. And then in Agbo, it's going to be Apex Crane taking on Joy Comet, and in Ugeli, it is J Atete versus Crown FC. So these are the matches we have for the weekend. But I think the Bendel Insurance game is tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. But that's the biggest in B2 because it's looking like Remo Stars might run away with that.
If Remo Stars win this game, then forget it. Bendel Insurance can only hope to finish second.
That's the truth. And we hope that they're able to get something out of this game. The last time out, they started well, but they finished badly. But this time, I'm sure they must have learned their lessons, honestly, because when it comes to creating chances, that's not a problem with Bendel Insurance. Finishing clinically has always been their problem. I don't know when they're going to get leader strikers who will ensure that scoring will be just before fun. But this is a big game for them because Remo would not want to lose to Bendel Insurance at home. Though they came here, they were beaten here, but tomorrow they will want to get revenge over Bendel Insurance. But Benadogbe should know that this is a must win for him, or a match that he has to get something, because you can't be struggling away from home and also expect to get to finish on top of the Group B2. So it's a must win for them. They just have to go out and see that game as a final. If they're able to win this game, come on, that will just put them on the road to the summit. Because if they win over Remo Stars now and they win at home in their next game, will take them to the number 1 position from the way things are at the moment. But then it's going to be big. So let's see if they're able to beat Remo Stars. If they do that, then we know they're ready for business. But it will fail. Come on, it will be difficult for them to overtake Remo Stars.
Well, Bernardo has to tell his boys that a win away from home in NNL is possible. Yes, you win your matches at home, no doubt about that. But then away from home, you've got to tell your boys that this 3 points here is very, very important. We're either getting this 3 points here or getting nothing. At least ensure that you don't lose that very match. Hopefully tomorrow it will come to happen for Bendel Insurance. They've done quite well, relatively, you can say that. But then away from home has been where they have had issues, this season in the NNL. If you have to gain promotion to the Nigerian Professional Football League, you need to win your away matches as much as you have to win, your home matches. Against Remo Stars, they're more like one of the toughest customers in this very group. You expect, Remo Stars to come to the party and then try to, prove hard to beat or try to prove stubborn, considering that they are playing at home and we know how it is. The NNL is arguably the most difficult league, in here in Nigeria. So you can relatively say that away fixtures is difficult for away teams to get wins, but then it's not impossible. So Bernardo needs to understand that there's a lot at stake here in this very match. It's an away fixture, no doubt about that. We all know that. But then he's got to go there and tell his boys, we have to fight today. Forget about the referee. Focus on the match. If the referee, does not do what he's expected to do, by getting us good officiating, then of course, on our own end, let's try at least to score. Let him cancel it so that we know that we have done our part. It's important, coaches. We have to start removing this mindset of, the referees against us. Try as much as possible. Prepare your team to win. Hopefully it gets to, go in Bendel Insurance favor tomorrow.
All right, let's look at the Nigerian Professional Football League, the matches that we've got there.
All right, so we've got matches. March day 25. Kano Pillars will be at home to Imba International. Heartland will take on Rivers United. Warriors versus Sunshine Stars, while Katsina United will take on Nasarawa United. Rangers International at the Cathedral will play host to MFMFC, while Wiki Tourists will take on Aqua United. Then Dakar NC will be at home to Lobby Stars. Abia Warriors will take on SC Ifanyoba. Then bottom side, Adamawa United will be at home to Plateau United. Then Jigawa Kwara United play host to Jigawa Golden Stars. These are the matches to expect tomorrow in the Nigeria Professional Football League.
Okay, we'll return to football, of course, but for now, let's go to other sports. And we're starting at the French Open. Live matches going on at the moment. We can tell you that on the top seed, Novak Djokovic, who is aiming for a second career Grand Slam, he has won his match and is through to the round of 16. He has not dropped a set in the tournament so far. He's 34, and he beat Ricardas Berankis 6-1, 6-4, 6-1 to get to the round of 16.
Yeah, that was an easy ride for Novak Djokovic, and he's looking forward to winning this game. Though we had Rafael Nadal, we still have Roger Federer, but the way he keeps playing and the way he has maintained his composure, and he knows that yes, it's not going to be easy, but if he keeps on winning this way, then there's no one stopping him at the end of the day. But you want to understand that yes, he's a bigger player than Ricardo Berankis, and when it comes to forehand, backhands, and even the one of the big hitters, he's one of the big hitters in tennis, and also one of the best returners. So beating Ricardo Berankis was
he's not a big hitter. He's good with returns, and his strokes are good, but he isn't known for his power. Rafael Nadal is also on course for a straight set win. He has beaten Cameron Norrie in the first two sets, 6-3, 6-3, and they are in the third set right now. The third of the big three, Roger Federer, will be playing later against Dominic Kopfer. So that's what's going on. Jan-Lennard Struff defeated Carlos Alcaraz 6-4, 7-6, 6-3, also a straight set win. And Diego Schwartzman beat Philip Kohlschreiber 6-4, 6-2, 6-1. And this was a marathon game. Lorenzi Musetti defeating Marco Cecchinato 3-6, 6-4, 6-3, 3-6, 6-3. And for the men, we have basically the top seed, apart from Dominic Thiem that has crashed out. The golden generation, golden oldies, they are still there. But in the women's version, you have the seeds dropping out. Slostom won her game against Karolina Muchova 6-3, 7-5. Barbara Krejcikova defeated Elena Svitolina 6-3, 6-2. Sofia Kenin beat Jessica Pegula 4-6, 6-1, 6-4, while Marta Kostyuk beat Varvara Gracheva 6-1, 6-2. Iga Swiatek, the defending champion, she won her first set against Annette Kontaveit 7-6, and she's leading 3-love in the second set. So it's looking like she will be going through. Ellis Martins lost the first set to Maria Sakkari 5-7, and at the moment we have Magda Linette and Ons Jabeur. Magda Linette won the first set 6-3, but Ons Jabeur took the second set 6-love, and she's leading in the third set 3-love. And Ons Jabeur is from Tunisia, so African interest there.
Yeah, nice one for Ons Jabeur. Since the tournament started, she has been in fine form, and the way she responded after losing the first set to Magda Linette, winning the second set 6-love, and now she's 3-love up, and it seems she might take the third set to go into the next round. So for me, I think she's beginning to show that apart from the fact that she comes from Africa, she has also got what it takes to fight for a Grand Slam. I won't be surprised if she gets to the semi-finals, and if she does that, that will be a massive one, in her career. So for me, I think I'm really, really supporting her here, and also other Africans who might still remain in the tournament. Like Kevin Henderson, I don't know if he's still in the tournament, but if he does, I think it's also going to be really huge because he has been.
Kevin Henderson, didn't he lose in the very first round also?
Yeah, okay. But for Asjaba in the women's singles, I never expected that she'll get to semi-finals, but the way she's pushing right now, I think that's the way to go because she has been in previous competitions and she must have learned from the mistakes that she has had that has denied her, a place, on the podium to get a title. But this time, come on, the way she pushes this time, I'm sure if she gets past this, then confidence will continue to grow, and she'll just have that belief that yes, if others can also win the Grand Slam for the first time, people like Swiatek, Elena Ostapenko, and a couple of other players, even Sloane Stephens. So why can't she do the same thing? So I expect her to push on, and I expect her to see her in the final. If she does that, I'll be so happy with the Tunisian.
Well, it's difficult for the African lady, but no doubt about that. I mean, when you lose a first set in a tennis match, one would expect that either you're coming back in the next set or you're crumbling in the next set. Remember, for this very competition, you've got to win 2 sets. Either you're winning 2 straight sets, or you're winning 2 in 3, or you're of course winning, the first 2 sets for you to advance to the next phase of the competition. So, for us, Jabba, we expect her to at least, try as much as possible to win this, third set for her to ensure that she pulls through to the next phase of the competition. She's doing well, no doubt about that. It's difficult when you lose the first set and then you try to come back, in the second. But she has done well for herself, losing the first set 6-3 and then winning the second one 6-love, and also doing pretty very well for herself at this point in time. Being 3-love up, it's of course something that you readily say, okay, it's not going to happen. But then let's see, she's of course having the African spirit, which is very important at this point in time. So let's see how the other results would of course go, like Annette Kontaveit versus Iga Swiatek. Iga Swiatek has already won at the first set. She's very much doing very well for herself in the second set. We also expect to either see Magda Linette, that's either see Corey Kogugov or Jennifer Brady in the next phase of the competition. Hopefully in the next 1 hour or thereabouts, this very one will come on board, and then we'll see who gets to go to the next phase of the competition. I have a special bias for Corey Goff, maybe because of her young age. Usually you're tempted to support a young star like Coco Gauff, who is just coming onto the scene. She needs that kind of encouragement to ensure that she keeps improving, and then the rest. Not a bad tennis player in any way.
All right, so we'll see what happens, keeping an eye on the second tennis Grand Slam of the French Open. Okay, let's go to basketball. We had one game last night in the playoffs, and then we can tell you that in the Western Conference first round, it is now tied. We are going to be having a Game 7 between LA Clippers and Dallas Mavericks. Kawhi Leonard and his team, they did it yesterday. They were able to beat Dallas Mavericks 104 points to 97. And Kawhi Leonard dropped 45 points. He also got 6 rebounds and 3 assists, while Luka Doncic got 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 11 assists for his team, the Dallas Mavericks. So they're going to be having one game, Game 7, to decide this.
Massive victory for the Clippers. Honestly, the last time they played at home, I expected them to close the game, but they failed to win that game. And playing away yesterday, it was just the only opportunity for them to remain in the game, in the playoff, or be sent home. But Kawhi Leonard, the star that he is, and he wanted to really help his team to force Game 7. And now they'll be the one to host Game 7 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. So this is a massive one for them. Having leveled up 3-3, and you have the deciding game in front of your fans and playing at home at the Staples Center, which they've lost a couple of games there. So for me, the deciding game coming up there is going to be it's going to be a massive one and a big one for them. So if they fail to perform from the first quarter, they might be shocked at home, and Dallas will just move into the next phase. But for me, with what he did yesterday, Kawhi Leonard scoring 45 points, even if it doesn't get up to about 45 or 30 in their next game, but I'm sure it's going to help the team as well to ensure that they get to win 4-3 and progress to the next round of the NBA playoffs. So it was a massive one for them to have been able to come back in the second quarter after losing the first quarter. They won the second quarter, then lost the third, and also won the fourth. So putting everything together, 104 to 97. That's about difference of 7 points. So it was good for them because they played away from home. So they should channel all their energy to the last game before they'll be talking about the semi-final in the Southern Conference, Western Conference.
All right, so tonight we are going to be having Brooklyn Nets versus Milwaukee Bucks.
So it is game one.
Game one of the Eastern Conference semi-finals is going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, taking on the big three.
Just
what happens.
These guys, I think in 2 of the games that they played, the way the 3 of them came out, Kevin Durant, the Beard, James Harden, and also Kyrie Irving. These guys, on a very good day, once they are really, once they play as a team and they reach gel, the way they, shun out points is something that one will be really interested to watch. But then this one, Milwaukee taking on Brooklyn. But it's going to be at Brooklyn. So Brooklyn will want to do very well at home to get a win in this game one, then get the second one before moving to Milwaukee. But for Milwaukee, with the Greek freak, come on, you can never say never. So the way he hits them, it was a clean sweep for them, 4-0. That's the
and they've been resting since.
So they did their job early and they had enough rest. So not like Brooklyn also. I think
it was 4-1.
4-1, yeah. So they also ended there.
They didn't do too much work.
So this is where the work starts. This is where the battle starts. So whoever gets to win between Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee then might also get to reach the NBA playoffs. So it's not going to be easy, but this is where the show starts. So let's see how the big three will react tonight against Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, Sunday is going to be Atlanta Hawks taking on the 76ers, and that's the second semi-final of the Eastern Conference. So we're having game 1, okay, and then afterwards it's going to be Dallas Mavericks versus Clippers, game 7. So that's what we have in the world of basketball. All right, let's go to Combat Sports now and give you what happened on SmackDown last night. Well, the show was kick-started by the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. He made his way to the ring, accompanied by his special counsel, Paul Heyman. And then the guy who calls himself the Tribal Chief warned the Usos, that's Jay and Jimmy, the twins, that he has changed his opinion about them challenging for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship against the Mysterios, which are, of course, a father and son combination. I think this is the first father and son tag team champions we've had in the WWE. Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio. He warned them that they better win, and he reminded them that the entire family is watching, and the Usos, they vowed that they would win. So later we had this match, and it was the Mysterios who won this. Dominic, he was able to catch a flying knee from Jimmy Uso, and he was able to roll up and get a controversial win. So the Mysterios defeated Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, and Roman Reigns was not happy about this, and he berated the Usos for their loss, and then he demanded that they should go immediately to fix it. They should go and meet Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville and get another title shot. Then we had Liv Morgan taking on Carmella. It was Carmella who won this encounter. Then Bianca Belair, she challenged Bayley for this game. But just before that, we had Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. They stopped the Mysterios from leaving the arena and informed them that they will have to defend their titles again against the Usos later that night. Then SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair, she then made her way to the ring, and she admitted that the way Bayley has been laughing at her has been getting to her, for about a week now. And then she said that this is really disrespectful, and then she challenged Bayley to a match in Hell in a Cell. And then Bayley accepted before she started laughing hysterically, and then her picture just took over every screen in the WWE Thunderdome. And then we also had Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Baron Corbin, and it was Corbin that won this encounter. And then later we had an Intercontinental Championship match, Kevin Owens versus Apollo Cruz. And before the match started, General Commander Aziz, he hit Kevin Owens with the maneuver that's known as the Nigerian nail, but Kevin Owens was still able to fight his way back into the ring, and they had this fight, but eventually Apollo Cruz won this encounter. So Apollo Cruz won and retained his WWE Intercontinental Championship. And afterward, Sami Zayn came into the ring, and then he blasted Kevin Owens with a hell of a kick, and then he told him, "I didn't just kick you, karma kicked you, Kelvin." And he left him there. And then we had again the SmackDown Championship match. Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, they had this rematch with the Mysterios, and at one point it looked like they were going to win, but then Dominic Mysterio suddenly went to the top of the rope and was preparing for a frog splash on one of the Usos to get the win. But out of nowhere, Roman Reigns appeared, and then he attacked both Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio. He brutalized them so badly, and then he choked out Dominic Mysterio with the guillotine. And as the Usos were watching helplessly, Jimmy then pleaded with him to release the hold, but Roman Reigns refused, and then Jimmy was disgusted and left the ring, and he was asking Jey to do the same thing, but Roman Reigns stopped Jey Uso from leaving, and he stared him down, prevented him from doing so. And then he still added a couple of rights, and then he powerbombed Dominic Mysterio to end the show. So the Mysterios kept their belts because Roman Reigns interfered, so that means that it was a disqualification. Okay, so Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio defeated the Usos twice in one night following that interference by Roman Reigns. So that's what happened on SmackDown. Okay, let's go to the circuits now and talk Formula One. Yeah, we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix coming up tomorrow in Baku, and we can tell you that Charles Leclerc of Ferrari is on pole in this one, and second is Lewis Hamilton, while Max Verstappen of Red Bull, the championship leader, is third. So that's the situation for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix tomorrow.
Well, I don't know, but then Lewis Hamilton has been struggling of recent. You would of course really expect Max Verstappen to do the same thing again. Of course, the one he did 2 weeks ago by winning the Formula One. But then he also has struggled in terms of the practice session. It's difficult to say or state which particular driver will get it done, whether Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez, or Charles Leclerc, or even Carlos Sainz, or if you want to talk about Daniel Ricciardo, probably Pierre Gasly or Esteban Ocon. So we just have an open heart about this very one. But then when you talk about the Formula one name that, first of all, readily pop up in your head has to be Lewis Hamilton. These days, it's not usually as consistent as it used to be. We don't want to think that he's losing his mojo. But what Max Verstappen has been able to do this 2021 season of the Formula One is give everybody, not just Lewis Hamilton, every other driver a serious run for their money. What he did not do last season was add consistency to his game. In terms of if he can get the job done, if he can drive and get himself a title, he can do that. But then the only other thing that he needs to add to his game has to be that little bit of consistency, which of course is something that Lewis Hamilton has got in abundance. So let's see how he gets that. But it could be Valtteri Bottas. It could of course be him, getting the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this very Sunday. But then it's always an open mindset about the Formula One.
Okay, if you are a Chelsea fan, of course, you are the European champions. He won the Champions League, beating Manchester City 1-0 in the final. But we can tell you that there have been some transfer stories from Chelsea, but doesn't involve any player coming in just yet. It's about those that are there extending their contracts. Thomas Tuchel has extended his with by 3 years. We told you that already. But what's new, as we're leaving this year, somebody was asking if it is confirmed that Olivier Giroud has extended his contract. Well, we can tell you now that yes, it is true. Olivier Giroud has extended his contract, and in fact, Chelsea revealed that they actually extended that contract in April after he scored that wonderful goal against Atletico Madrid, and they just decided that look, we still need you to extend your contract. But there is a clause in that contract, and the clause says that if a foreign club comes in with an offer, then Chelsea should allow Olivier Giroud go. So, you know, his contract was going to expire. His contract was going to expire at the end of June. That's how the contracts usually are. June is the end of the season. Okay, so officially by the 30th of June, Olivier Giroud's contract was supposed to expire. So now he has extended it by 1 year, which means now any club coming for Olivier Giroud will have to pay Chelsea. If he had left it to run till the 30th of June, then he would have gone on a free. Yeah, so you could just, all you had to do was to negotiate how much you pay him as his wages and everything. You don't need to pay Chelsea anything. But now he has done Chelsea a favor by actually extending his contract with 1 year. So if you come for Olivier Giroud now, you have to pay Chelsea. Chelsea will have to tell you, okay, this is how much he is worth. So he cannot go for free anymore. But the clause is there now that if a club, a foreign club, we learned AC Milan were interested in him. So if AC Milan comes for him and they have to negotiate with Chelsea, and if they say, okay, bring 15 million or 20 million, you can have Olivier Giroud.
Well, knowing Giroud, I think he's a loyal man. He wants to stay at Chelsea probably till January or maybe till the end of in the next season. So it's a case of him. You know, it's more like loyalty on the part of Giroud.
Yeah. Because he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to do that. He could have just said, "Look, I'm leaving." I'm
a French player. I've done my own part. I've scored the number of goals required for a French player to score. I mean, you look at his record. It's not something that you can look at and say, "Okay, he's done amazingly well." But then he scored important goals for Chelsea Football Club. 39 goals in 119 appearances. It's not the best record you can get from a striker, but then when you have that coming from a French striker like Olivier Giroud, and most of those goals were important goals for Chelsea, you got no other option but to give him a contract extension. And knowing fully well that is above 30, you know the usual law at Chelsea, when you're up to 30, you don't get more than a year contract.
Why do people always say it's usual in Chelsea? It's this, maybe the same everywhere. Well, maybe not as rigid.
They can give you 3 years or 2 years.
maybe not as rigid, but most times, many clubs like to, once you're above 30, they don't want to give you more than a year's extension. So Olivier Giroud has extended, so he's staying at least for now. And then Thiago Silva has also extended by 1 year. So he, of course, didn't have anything like, okay, if another club comes, he doesn't want to go anywhere. He's well integrated at Chelsea, so he's staying for 1 more year at least. And then we also heard that Fikayo Tomori, it's now confirmed he's going to AC Milan. They have triggered. They've agreed that they were going to pay the 28 million euros. So that was what was in the contract. That he's going there on loan. But if AC Milan can pay 28 million euros, they can have him on a permanent deal. So it was no longer in Chelsea's hand, so long as AC Milan were willing to pay, or so long as Tomori was also ready to go to AC Milan. Some Chelsea fans were thinking, oh, now that they've won the Champions League, maybe he will want to come back. But he has decided that it's better for him to move on. And he signed a 5-year deal with AC Milan. So Fikayo Tomori is gone. So Chelsea, we don't know. They'll still be looking
Chelsea
for...
are going to cash in on a lot of players. This is so much as far we know. They will make a lot of money from the sale of players. It has started from Fikayo Tomori.
Those guys that are on loan.
Absolutely, especially those guys that are on loan. Fikayo Tomori, you can tell yourself that he has no place at Chelsea. It's best for him to move to AC Milan and, of course, very much continue his amazing stay at AC Milan. He signed in January, but then you look at his record, it's been amazing. Everybody at AC Milan, they've come out to praise Fikayo Tomori. I mean, it's not easy when you have a player who has played in England all his life, go to Italy, the Serie A, a very difficult league, very tactical one, and then, goes there to wow everybody, and all of a sudden, people are beginning to say, okay, this guy is here at AC Milan. AC Milan are not a small club in Italy. They're of course one of the biggest. So, playing for them comes with a lot of pressure. If you can survive as a centre back there, it means you can of course play for any club in the world. And Fikayo Tomori talks up to him. He has done well.
And Fikayo Tomori is an academy player.
Absolutely.
So it means Chelsea did not even spend any money on him. They didn't buy him. So
they are making a lot of profit.
Yeah, making a lot of profit.
You're looking at 20 million euros
on
which
him.
Is about
free money.
Yeah,
free
which
money.
is about 25 million pounds.
Yeah, that's free money for them.
For them, I think Chelsea are structured to make a lot of money. Since Roman Abramovich decided to allow the club to run effectively without him interfering in transfer business and then the rest. I think with the way they are going, they will next season. We'll see them when it's time for them to look at their budget. Of course, when it's time for them to look at profits and losses, I'm sure they will make a lot of profits. This past season. So let's say for Chelsea, it's guaranteed that they are at least going to get more than 100 million. Pounds from winning the Champions League. And when you add transfer figures to that, that's massive. For a football club. So they will keep running. They will keep buying players. People keep saying why is it that Chelsea are signing players, especially when you have a goalkeeper for up to 75 million pounds, you have a midfielder for up to 80 million or thereabouts. It's from deals like this that they get the money to ensure that they sign and make enough money back. I remember there is the FFP. In as much as you're signing
but they said now because of COVID they are
going to relax
FFP.
Yeah, but then of course I don't think clubs will now spend maybe 150 million pounds. This is because of the COVID on one player.
Chelsea spent over 200 million last season. They could actually.
I'm talking about just one player. If you have
on a player,
it's difficult now to do that. If you spend 150 million,
apart from Neymar and Mbappe, who are actually in the same club. Which other player has cost over 150 million?
Maybe Erling Haaland.
Erling brought Haaland. I know now anybody that wants him now, knowing that by next season the release clause will kick in, that's just about 66 million pounds. So
Lukaku will cost 100.
I don't think Lukaku will cost over 100.
One thing is
Harry Kane is another player that could cost 100 million. He could be the first British 100 million.
The bad thing about the transfer market is if a club doesn't want to sell and you force them to sell, they will raise the price where they think you cannot reach it.
How did you think Kepa Arrizabalaga cost 71 million pounds? It was because Chelsea were desperate. They knew that Chelsea were desperate at that point, and that's why they decided to.
It's not the same reason why Barcelona fixed Neymar's buyout clause. The amount of money they fixed it only for PSG to match it, and then of course they had no option but to sell the player. Even though we knew that at that point in time, Neymar was not worth that amount of money. But then that's just it about.
Neymar actually bought out his contract himself, but PSG have told him, "Do it. We are going to refund that money."
And they did.
Yeah, they did. Of course.
That's too much money.
Okay. Antonio Conte was, from the reports that we got, he was on his way to Tottenham Hotspur, but now we hear that that deal is likely to be off. We heard that the contract talks have stalled, and now Tottenham Hotspur, they don't seem to want to continue, and even Conte himself doesn't seem to want to go to Spurs anymore. Well, we hear they are looking at some other managers like Julian Nagelsmann and Brendan Rodgers, but Julian Nagelsmann went to Bayern Munich, and then when they told us at the end of the season we're going to Bayern Munich, then Brendan Rodgers has decided to stay at Leicester City, and so they were left with trying to get Antonio Conte and everything. But now we hear that that contract talks has stalled, and this was because Antonio Conte wanted to bring his whole backroom staff and everybody, but Man City told him you can only bring 4 people. We will not allow you to bring more than 4. So because of this, it has stalled. Well, veteran Argentine striker Carlos Tevez, he has announced that he will be leaving Boca Juniors. That's his boyhood club at the end of this season. But he didn't say that he has retired. He's 37. He said, my blood isn't red, it is blue and yellow, which of course is the traditional colors of Boca Juniors. However, he has said that his career in Argentina is finished, that he will always said that it's only one club that he will ever play for, and that is Boca Juniors, without a doubt. He lost his father, Segundo Tevez, in February, and that's due to COVID-19. And he has said that he didn't even have time to mourn after he lost his father at the age of 58. But he has not said that he's retiring now. However, after leaving Boca Juniors, and he has said he's not playing for any other club in Argentina, I think we can
Carlos is a
know that
guy.
the time has come.
Yeah, I think he will continue. He's a very controversial person. He's somebody who will tell you that he's retiring from football, and then the next moment he's telling you